Buenas noches, bienvenidos al Rock Cultura Podcast, que es nuestro capítulo número 6. Buenas noches a toda la gente que se está conectando. Hoy es un capítulo especial. Tenemos un enlace directo con Ricardo, que está con Kevin, vocalista de Black Pistol Fire, que nos van a platicar un poquito de su nuevo sencillo, Hope in Hell. Ya conocen a esta banda, este dúo de rock canadiense que radican en Austin. Buenísimo, rock garage durísimo. Ya estamos enlazados. Ricardo, ¿estás listo? Vámonos, saludos a todos. Ricardo está listo. Vámonos con Ricardo y Kevin. El rock es cultura.
Well, how are you, man?
Well, hello, Kevin. First, thank you very much for your time. We are here in Latin America. My name is Ricardo. I am right now in Peru, stuck because of quarantine. I can leave, I can move, I can do pretty anything.
Right.
Just making music. I am a musician too, so like we were going to talk about your new single, Hop in Hell, that actually is going really great. I love that kind of music. And this media is the rock is culture. This is the page. We are trying to support the reality of rock fans around the world, and most of them in Latin America. We are around 10 million people, real people. So we're going to share everything of your music later on.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you. Yes. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, I of course I knew the band like years ago. As I told you, I love this kind of music. It's really energetic. And I was listening this new single, and you wrote something about like you make you compose this music with some. Yeah, you were having some kind of problems. You were like, what's the lyrics about? If you can talk about that.
Yeah, the lyrics are kind of were mostly inspired just by kind of some emotional struggles that I was dealing with during the time, and certain things in my life felt very uncertain about the future of like what is going to happen. But again, the song was written a year and a half ago, so yeah, there was a lot of things that were just kind of battling. I was battling internally, but I think that's what came out. Sometimes I don't really pay too much attention to the actual words that I'm writing. I think, but then when I look back on it and I can have enough time in between or after the fact and look back at some of the lyrics, I can find things that I'm directly talking about on a personal level that I didn't perhaps know I was doing in the time. But yeah, it was a lot of struggle and uncertainty and yeah, and also just sometimes when things look bleak, you or things the outcome looks a little bit not great. You tend to write about things that are kind of in that world. But I guess the message of the song was to talk about the idea of the saying "hope in hell." That you know, sometimes those are little lies that we tell ourselves. You know, oh, you know, things are not looking great. We don't have a hope in hell. And sometimes, you know, you choose what you want to believe out of it. And yeah, so it's kind of about that. It's about a lot of things, but that's usually when I'm writing music, I tend to put a lot of information of what I'm feeling in the moment, and sometimes it pertains sometimes to many different things. But yeah, it was a very tough song to sing. Yeah.
And when did you record this song? Some month ago. How was the process of this specific single?
So the rock version was recorded about a year and a half ago in the studio. It was pretty much right at the end of our last album cycle in the studio, and then we started going in to record a few more songs. So that was about a year and a half ago, and then it sat on the shelf for a long time. We recorded it, And then because it was a very hard, emotional song for me to sing in the studio, I didn't think I sang the song very well. So I wasn't happy with my vocals on it. And so it stayed on the shelf for a very long time. And then when we were making more music for this album, it definitely felt very appropriate for this album, and also the times. Especially with the pandemic, it seemed like it was a perfect time to release that type of song.
So, and you're planning to release an entire album the next year? Is in your plan?
Yeah, early, at the very early next year. So hopefully at the top of next year, that's the plan. The album will be released beginning of next year.
Great. And in all your experience, you've played in different festivals and amazing places. Have you been in any country around South America before?
Yes, we played. We've played. I think we played a festival, a couple festivals. One in Monterrey, and now I'm forgetting. Oh, in Mexico City, we played another one, another festival in Mexico City. So we have made our way down to where y'all are at, and we love, because the fans are so passionate, and the crowds and the energy and the vibe is very very amazing down there.
Yeah, actually, we were making some questions about what do you think about the music of your band, and all people were crazy about to hear this interview later. And well, yes, actually, we are a lot of we have a lot of guitar players and other bands that they are starting on, and I would love to know what's your gear, like your guitars, your pedals, and things like that. If you can share that information.
Yeah,
it's amazing how.
Oh yeah.
Just a drum and a guitar player is making all the performance, so it's cool.
Right. Actually, I don't have a very complicated or intricate setup. I usually play with 2 or 3 different amps, guitar amps, where I split them to stereo channels, and usually one of the amps is a little bit more for lower bass sounds, and then one amp is more dirty and kind of more that mid-range treble, kind of more defined guitar sound. And then my pedals are just a mixture of fuzz pedals and a few delay pedals and tremolo. I like playing, what I'm playing now is the Walrus Jupiter Fuzz. I've been using that for a while. Right. I always loved the Big Muff, Electro Harmonics Big Muff. I like the old Russian green Big Muffs. Those ones tend to sound the best. Hard to find though. Octafuzz, the full tone Octafuzz. I love that pedal. The Bumble Buzz, I love the Bumble Buzz by Jack White. His Third Man Records put out a really great fuzz pedal called the Bumble Buzz, and I use that on certain things. It's really great. And just some reverb, delays, and my guitars are usually P90 pickups on a hollow body. I've got an Epiphone Casino. I've got a Gibson SG, a Firebird. So nothing too crazy. I don't have many pedals, but I think we just play very loud and very aggressive. So sometimes all the other effects, and octave pedals sometimes for creating more of a dynamic between choruses and verses. But yeah, that's about it. And then Eric plays the drums, and he's also been playing more of the keyboard synth. It's to add a little bit more low end bass synth. So that allows me to kind of do more guitar solos. And that's basically all the whole setup.
That sounds like simple, but it has some great details around that. So it's something that we are trying to know. How are you doing with just the two of you making all these things? No? And in life, it should be like really energetic, because your music is so high, like boom, boom, boom all the time. And of course, you have the other like moods of songs. But I think at the same time, are you considering in the future to add other kind of instruments that you never used before?
Yes. I think with what you'll hear on the new album is a lot more instrumentation than we would normally do. And for me, during the writing process, this album was a very different process where I actually was able to do very different from other albums, where with this album I was able to go and do proper demos, record actual demos at home, and then sometimes even go into the studio and record these songs kind of by myself, and then see if they work, and for Black Pistol Fire, and then we would get together and shape them to be more BPF. But in that process, I didn't want to allow myself to be confined or only restricted to the guitar, the drums, and maybe one other instrument. For the writing process, for me creatively, I needed to have more colors to draw from the paint box. So synthesizers, keyboards, old acoustic guitars, and put pickups in them. Even like banjos and a lot of bass guitar too. So keyboards and kind of organs, all kinds of things were used in the making of this album. So I think in the future, there'll definitely be more expanding more upon that sonic landscape of pulling whatever's right for the song. Usually it's what's best for the song. So if a song is calling for some kind of big, huge piano or keyboard, it's like, yes, let's bring that in. And then we worry about it later, whether or not we can do it live or whatever. But yeah, I think in the future.
That's great, because that last part you just mentioned is it's the clue of everything. That if the song needs that, okay, but if not, and it's kind of the same, it's okay too, because it's already awesome as it is. I remember an interview from Angus Young from AC/DC, and the interviewer asked him like, why you are playing the same kind of music like after 50 years? Why it's the same? And he was like, because it's so fucking awesome, and that's all. That's the answer. That's it.
Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't want AC/DC to play any other style music, because that's what I love about them. And when they do it well every time. And I think if you're a band like AC/DC, yes, absolutely. I love hearing that. I think for a lot of musicians or a lot of artists or songwriters do get to a point where, especially if you're working in a band where there's only two people, you want to be able to push yourself to creatively to come up with different ideas. And that's why, I look at bands like White Stripes or the Black Keys, and I think about how tough that really is when you think about being only able to work with those elements. And you see with like the White Stripes, right? I have so much respect for a band like the White Stripes, and they were a big influence on me and Eric. And to be able to do a two-person band is fun, so much fun, but a lot of work creatively to figure out how you can present new ideas with just those two things. And I love what they do, because they never strayed from, it was only the two of them for 6 albums or more. And where bands like the Black Keys, I love those guys. They started out more rooted in kind of that more of the blues, but it evolved into more production-based, recordings with bass and keys and extra guitars and instrumentation. So I really love that side of it too. So I think it's a happy balance you need to find of like how far you want to go and then how much you want to just keep things close and stripped down to still have your signature sound.
Actually with a band with just two people, it's how that decisions are made, because when you have three you always have like the one in the middle is like, okay, this is side or the other, and it's like kind of resolved. But in this case it's like you have like a second marriage there, it's like it's kind of difficult there, and you've been playing since high school, I think, so it's
we've been playing music since high school, and we've known each other, been friends since we were in kindergarten, since we were just little kids. So we've been playing music a long time, and this band has been we've been playing in this band Black as Fire for just over 10 years now, over a decade. So we've learned how to play very well with each other in terms of developing a chemistry that when you play with somebody for that long, their style of playing and how they play, and it's a very good thing. And then I think that's a very good thing. I think the fear is that you don't want to get too predictable with your music, where it becomes you have a way of doing things and it works every time, but then you might get the same results over and over again. And I think for us, we don't want the same results over and over. We want to have albums and music that change over time, and people keep the listener interested and surprise them, in a good way.
Yeah, that's amazing. And in this moment of a quarantine, as everything is changed, there's no concerts, there's no this part of that. It's amazing for us in the music business. And you are releasing this new single. What's your plans about are you going to make streaming, or it's not in your plans? If everything is keeping lockdown, can you share something about that, or you don't have yet that part already decided, or?
Yeah, that's where it's tough. I'm not really sure what next year is going to look like, and I think I think a lot of people don't really know what's going to happen next year. If shows will start happening again later in the year or by the summer, but we are planning to release the album early next year, and hopefully we'll do everything we can to promote it and play live. Live streams seem to be the best way for people to do play live and have an audience appreciate it. So I'm sure we'll probably end up doing that, and then some bands and artists are doing the drive-ins, where they're playing drive-in movie theaters or drive-in concerts where people drive in their car up to a concert. I have no idea, but we will do our best to go with the flow and try to promote and play as much as possible. But we're very excited, though. We're very, very excited to have the album finally released early next year.
And the album was being recorded since the last year, right? And you're still working on that. It's also very.
The album's finished now, but it had been we've been working on it for over a year. I think it's because with most kids, I think most people would assume, or most bands or artists maybe block out a section of time to go into the studio and record and then get it done, and then it's done. For us, it's always kind of been increments. So we go into the studio, record maybe 2 or 3 songs, and then maybe couple months later, we go in and we record another couple songs. And that just comes down to, touring, because sometimes we'll be on the road for a month, come home, then back on the road for another month or 2. Mm-hmm. And it's just finding those little gaps or those little spaces in between where we can record. But mostly just for writing, when I'm writing, I like to write all the time. So when I'm at home or if I'm on the road, I try to squeeze in wherever I can to write, and then that will dictate when we can really record.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been off and on, but that's what's really interesting about this album is that it was recorded at a few different studios and over the course of a year. And in the case of Hope and Hell, it was recorded a year and a half ago. So it's a very interesting, it's very interesting for me to listen to it because I can hear all the different timelines of when it was recorded. So I hear a lot of different, different inspiration and a lot of different language in the music just because of the different times that it was recorded at. And I think it really works nicely together.
And
I'm
actually,
excited about it.
It's your first pandemic record, so it's
yeah, right. There was a few songs. There's
Yeah.
a few songs on the album that will be recorded during the pandemic. So
Yeah.
that'll be an interesting addition too, to hear the songs play up against some of the other ones.
Yeah, that's like
But I think a lot
record.
of artists are doing that in a lot of bands, right? Yeah, record, because there's not a lot to do right now, but either write, record, or stay creative in any way you can. So I think 2021 will be a very powerful year for a lot of music.
Yeah. Well, that was amazing. I hope we can find your audio music on Spotify, right, and all the other channels, and we will share everything with our audience and with my friends and all the people that they can listen to your new music. It's pretty amazing right now. And I think like if you have anything to share, just we can just add it in here. And if you want also to use our channel to any kind of streaming or things, you're totally welcome to use us as whatever you want. And yeah, it was amazing to talk with you. I don't want to give you and take you more of your time, but thank you very much. And
Thank you. Yes, thank you guys so much for having us. We hope to 2021. We hope we can get down there and see you guys and play some shows. And I hope you guys enjoy the new music in the new year. And yes, thank you guys. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bueno, pues ahí tuvimos a Ricardo en entrevista o en una plática con Kevin de Black Pistol Fire. Síganos en nuestro Instagram, aquí se los dejamos, el Rock es Cultura, para más contenido exclusivo con artistas, con bandas, contenidos de rock, especial para ustedes, para todos los que se están uniendo a la comunidad. Como todos los jueves, aquí estamos, aquí vamos a estar en el siguiente jueves con un tema nuevo, una historia nueva o un artista nuevo. Síganos, ya saben, el Rock es Cultura Podcast.